मनसि प्रतिष्ठिता मनो मे वाचि प्रतिष्ठितम् आविराविर्मयेधि वेदस्य मआणीस्थ श्रुतं मे मा प्रहासीः अनेनाधीतेनाहोरात्रान् सन्दधामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारमवतु वक्तारम् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. May my speech be firmly established in my mind. May the mind too be firmly established in my speech. May my thoughts, words and actions be in harmony. May the truths of the scriptures come to me, revealing this self-effulgent one. May not what I learn from them ever forsake me. Let me live my life day and night according to their teachings. I shall speak what is appropriate. I shall speak the truth. May that protect me. May that protect the teacher. Om, peace, peace, peace. Let us feel our egos like ice balls immersed in infinite ocean. Let us feel my ego is dissolving, melting, becoming one with the ocean, its true nature. As the melting is happening, I am feeling more and more bliss, more and more peace, more and more love. I am almost dissolved. I am now seeing I am infinite. those separations are gone. They were fictitious separations anyway. With knowledge, they are gone. Now I see I am beyond birth or death. I am beyond time and space. I am bliss itself. I am perfection itself. This is my true nature. Knowing this, I am established in eternal peace. Om. Peace, peace, peace. So, dear friends, let us begin today's discussion on this unique, great biography of Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna Leela Prasang, translated in English as Sri Ramakrishna and his divine play. Let us begin by reciting our regular opening prayer. Tava kathamritam tapta jivanam kavibhiriditam kalmashapaham Shravanamangalam Shrimadattatam Bhuvi Grananti Te Bhurida Janaha. We have been discussing Sri Ramakrishna's Guru Bhava, Sri Ramakrishna appearing as the great teacher, the Guru, and the essence of his being a Guru lies in his state of Bhavamukha that we had been discussing for last many classes. What is this Bhavamukha? Sri Ramakrishna is seated in this situation. That is his position in life, being in Bhavamukha. And we saw that what it means in our language, which is very poor really to express such great ideas, that it is a state where you are on the boundary. On one side there is uh, the infinite beyond name and form, the highest expression of Chetanananda, that is on one side. And on the other side, that very Satchidananda, that very unspecified or undivided existence becoming apparently divided, like so many names, so many forms. According to the form, you get the name. Like if you have a particular appearance, particular form, then you get known by that name. As the form changes, that name also uh, suffers a hit, as it were. Uh, at one time when I was a teenager, about 14, 15 years old, I was very thin. They My height was same, like about 5'6", but the weight was about 95 pounds. So I was really very thin, and so uh, those who would not know my real name, or also those who knew, just to make it a point, that very skinny guy, so that skinny guy. Now that form has changed. Now that is recognized. Some would be calling that fat guy, you see. Now as the form changes, the name also undergoes a change. So it is like somebody had lot of hair, so would had not get the name that bald-headed person. But then as the age advances and the hair start bidding goodbye, then that very the form has changed. So you acquire a name bald-headed. I saw in my childhood going in that horse carriage in the villages or in the towns also, that the cabbie would keep on screaming for people to get away from the path, that, "Oh, you red turban fellow, hey, oh, that green shirt, get out," because that becomes the name. That cabbie doesn't know the names, that it is this fellow is John, and that fellow is somebody else. So whatever the appearance, according to that the name is given. Hey, you red turban fellow, means the fellow who has, and immediately that person knows that I am being addressed, so moves away. So that is how you get the names according to the different appearances, different forms, they change. That is not what we really are. Essentially, each of us is infinite, divine, perfection itself. It is this imbecile attachment to body that makes us see weak, that makes us suffer, because we are identified with a particular form. Like the example that we were seeing in meditation, that a ice cube is put in the water and then it starts melting. Naturally, it undergoes some suffering because its form is just melting away, it is not retained. So, therefore, it feels, but then uh, it is becoming one with the infinite. That is the joy, that it is, yes, the form is subject to change. It is sure to change, it does not remain. If it remains the same, we get concerned also. Like a baby, if it is not growing, has the same form, then, well, what is this? You take the baby to the doctor, and the parents are so worried. What is this happening? So, it is the forms have to change, and therefore, the one this thing, one conclusion of this change is it is gone. In Bhagavad Gita, it is in the second chapter, Lord Krishna is telling Arjuna, you are worried about this death and so forth. What is it, death? The death is the next inevitable chain. Uh, it is like in this life, it is, you see, Kaumaro Yauvanam Jara, that the childhood is there, child becomes the young person becomes old person. You don't get disturbed by that. And then the next link in the same process is the body is gone. Tatha, say in the same way, tatha dehantaram, that similarly you give up this body, take another one. Dhiras tatra na muhyati. So the wise do not get this disturbed by this. So this is the essential nature of us, and Sri Ramakrishna is established in this. He is established in this wisdom, and also sees that not being established in this wisdom, all of us are suffering. So, propelled by that compassion, now he is teaching. That teachership is coming from this fact, that he is able to see on the one hand that each of us is heir to that supreme bliss, that infinite consciousness, and yet why are we suffering? As Swami Vivekananda says in the Jnana Yoga book, that we are dying of hunger, right sitting next to a mountain of food. That is, there is the mountain of food, you can eat as much as you want, and yes, we are dying of starvation. We are this. There is the bliss all around us. It is bliss. We are inside bliss, outside bliss, but trying to stick to that particular form and identifying with it. Mm, well, then that is suffering. There is nothing that can be done to that suffering except bring in knowledge. If ignorance is the cause of suffering, the remedy obviously is knowledge that will remove that suffering. There is, of course, there is the alleviation, temporary, treatment of that suffering, but one has to see that it is temporary. One problem will give rise to another problem. It is like those who suffer from that rheumatic pain. So always either this knee is aching, or if this knee is all right, the other knee gets pain. It is like that. I was talking to somebody the other day, and that lady said, well, now the pain, it is always there. What can be done? It is sometimes the back is aching, sometimes the knees are aching, sometimes the ankles are aching, and then if none of them is aching, I get a headache. So all this is it is painful. So similarly in life, you go from one level of pain to the next level of pain, but there is the cessation of pain. As Lord Buddha said, that the Four Noble Truths. First Noble Truth is suffering. That is the first Noble Truth. Our Dayatmananji told, when you get during in the process of marriage, you get three rings. That it is what? Three rings? We heard two rings. There is the engagement ring, and then there is the wedding ring, and then it says, but the third is suffering. That is the third ring that also you get automatically. The engagement ring, the wedding ring, and suffering. So it is a natural consequence of our life, suffering. It is, everybody is in this world has to suffer. There is no escape from that. It is, as Buddha saw, that it is universal. It is unavoidable. Everybody suffers. But then the second noble truth is that there is the cause for this suffering, and the diagnosis. There is the cause. So, what does it mean? If the cause is removed, then the suffering will cease. And so, there is that third noble truth, that there is this cessation of suffering. Yes. And of course, the four noble truth is, you have to now apply that remedy. There is remedy, but one has to apply that remedy, which is he called in short the fourfold, eightfold noble path. The eightfold noble path. It is Ashtanga, Arya Ashtanga Marga. So it is then you actually, when implement this, then the sufferings will cease. So Sri Ramakrishna is there to impart this wisdom for those who seek. So Sri Ramakrishna is an exemplar. The presence of Sri Ramakrishna is itself makes us compare, like when we meet with each other, we compare automatically, not that we decide, let us compare, but it happens unconsciously that, oh, okay, that I don't have much money, but that person seems to be rich, lot of money. So you ask, what did you do to become rich? So that presence inspires a similar awakening in us, a sympathetic awakening that, well, I also want to lead a life like this. So when one sees Sri Ramakrishna, that he has nothing that we think is necessary to lead a happy life. He has nothing of that. He has no money, no education per se, nothing. He is being condemned by most as the insane person, and so forth. But uh, he still had something that we all seek, and that is bliss, always in supreme bliss. So people start comparing this fellow without any university degrees, without any high paying salary job or lot of money, nothing, has no property to boast of, and still this person is happy. And that is what we all really seek. The other things we want for happiness. Happiness we want in itself. It is, you see this, that why do you want a job? Well, that is it, to occupy myself and to get money. I was being told by one of our devotees, his father is 99, and then still is having a part-time job at 99. And then he decided to quit the job because they did not pay him properly. So it is, yeah, so you want a job and you want the payment from that job. It is, now why do you want money? So, because if you have money, you can live happily. So, if you can get money, you don't need job. If you can live happily, then you don't need money. Money is for happiness. Why do you need happiness? No answer to that. Happiness in itself is needed, not for something else to get from it. It is. So, when you see Sri Ramakrishna immersed in bliss all the time, then that presence makes you say, hey, what is this? What is this? So, and in the world, we see it is a rare thing to see a happy face. It is all faces that we normally encounter superficially. Everybody says, hey, how are you? I'm okay, fine. But just scratch a little and then all the pain and suffering and all that comes out. It is so, it is a rare thing to discover a happy person. I had told that story many times here. I had read it in my childhood, that a person was suffering a lot and he saw a holy man and thought that that holy man will have solution. So asked, well, I am suffering, what can I do? It is simple. Holy man said to him, you want no suffering, isn't it? So the solution is simple. You put on shirt of a happy person. Put on shirt of a happy person, and that's it. And he thought that that is very simple to find. My neighbor seems to be so happy. He has a wonderful family. He has a lot of money. So he must be a really happy person. So he goes to him, knocks his door. Hey, what's it? Can you give me your shirt, please? I want one shirt. Well, sure, take it, but what is the matter? You have your shirt, and why you want? No problem. I mean, I can give you, but what is the purpose? So then he revealed that I am suffering. So that holy man told that you have to put on shirt of a happy person, and then I will also be happy. Then that man said, sorry, then my shirt will not work for you. There was, the other day this happened, the next day, see, I have my taxes not done so far. It is, so many problems are there. What can I tell? So it is, so my shirt will not work. He first thought, no problem, let me go to the other fellow. I know so many people in the town and they seem to be all happy. So it is, but soon he saw that nobody is happy. And then he thought that holy man told me he looked pretty happy. Let me go and ask his shirt. And he came running to that holy man, and can you give me your shirt? But then he saw he is not putting on any shirt. So that shirt symbolizes what is called upadhis. They are, we put them on. They are like shirt, can be taken on, can be taken off. It is, these are the upadhis. So, if you get rid of this identification with upadhis, you are happiness. You don't need to get happiness by going to anything. So, Sri Ramakrishna's presence itself is that teachership. So, being compassionate, he is having on both these sides present. All the different these things, because now the ego, it is not an ordinary I, it is I of the divine, the great I, from which everything is coming up, as Bhagavad Gita says, ये चैव सात्विका भावा राजसास्तामसाश्च ये मत्त एवेति तान् विद्धि न तु अहम तेषु ते मयि. That it is all these different vibrations in this world, all that exists comes from me, stays in me, dissolves in me. Whatever comes, it has infinite variety. But all this variety comes from this one source. So that source is Sri Ramakrishna. In this, that biography you read, almost at the end of his life, Sri Ramakrishna showed Narendranath a sign, and that showing to his chest, like this, things coming and then things going. And what is the meaning? Did you understand? He asked Narendra. Narendra said, yes, this whole universe appears from you and dissolves in you. So this is the great I. So at that level of I, then one knows everything. We know, I know myself, I don't know myself, we only boast. I know that person's mind. Oh, hardly. Do you know your own mind? You don't. But we think that we know. But Sri Ramakrishna actually knows everyone's mind, and therefore can see the path on which that mind is going to go, and thus can remove the obstacles. That is the path, that is the way the Guru functions. The great Guru functions like this, that remove the path. As you are progressing, then the path gets straightened. Like in some areas in back in India, it is a lot of terrorist activities used to happen there. So the one that uh, method the terrorists used to disrupt things was, on the train track would keep some trees, would be kept that obstructing the train, and then they would explode, cause explosions, so many things. So a pilot car would be first going on the track before the train, and then it would take care of all those obstacles just before the train is coming from the back. So it is, that was how Sri Ramakrishna clears our paths. As the teacher knows on what path we are moving on, and these obstacles then are taken out by his grace. So that is Sri Ramakrishna, his Leela, his play as Guru. So we saw in our last class that how Sri Ramakrishna on 1st January of 1886, uh, bestowed that grace of Guru to so many people who had assembled at the Kashipur garden house. And after that description, it is now Swami Saradananda is commenting on it. So it is evident that the Master became a great instrument of cosmic eye or the Divine Mother only because he could completely shun the unripe or limited eye, and it is because he totally renounced that unripe eye and became truly humbler than the humblest that the Guru of the or the world teacher aspect of the Divine Mother was manifest wonderfully through him. And that is why Sri Ramakrishna is so humble a person. What is the meaning of humility? Means that ego that we all have. I am so and so. What do you think? I can do this and I can do that. Our ego makes so many pronouncements. Now we are not aware that there is some other power that is doing it. We don't do anything. That he used to give the example that if you put so the different veggies like tomatoes, potatoes and all that, and put it on boil in the water pot, put them all and put fire underneath, the water is boiling, and you see all those veggies dancing. And now, if those say that if the tomato says, "Hey, how nicely I can dance," fellow, it is because of the heat. The heat is shut down. You don't have any capacity to dance. So all our capabilities that we boast about are really zero. It is something else that makes it happen. That's all. You do not have any capability. The body, mind, they are just instruments that can break any time. Like I was buying some instrument, I don't remember what it was, and then I asked that seller that uh, how much, what is the guarantee on it? And that seller became kind of philosophical and said, you see this machine showing at to my body, not to his body, showing my body. This machine is made by God. It also doesn't come with any guarantee. And then the machine made by this machine, what guarantee can you expect from it? So it is, yeah. So you can't expect any guarantee there. It is all the manifestation of divine. This ego really is powerless, but we pay so much attention to it that this is I. And uh, so Sri Ramakrishna has shunned that completely. And this is therefore the way of sadhana for any of us. That the lesser this ego, the more the uh, divine manifest. That Sufi saying is there in Hindi, very nice, that it says, "Na hoti khudi to main khuda hi to tha." Means, had there been no this I, khudi means I, had there been no this ego, then I was God. Khuda hi to tha, I was God. And so, if I have to realize my divine nature, the way is to reduce the ego. So that is the Sri Ramakrishna teaches by his own example, that humble. It is, you can then think of God. A person with lot of ego uh, cannot think of God. It is because I, that obstructs the expression of the divine in us. So, when looking at Sri Ramakrishna, we see that this is the way. This is the way. it is just not that Sri Ramakrishna has to give verbal instructions. When you see that, I asked somebody that, uh, uh, where, how can I go to that place? Said, oh well, that car is going, just follow that car. Now I don't, that car is not giving me any specific instructions, but it is going to the same place, so if I follow, I will get to the same place. So Sri Ramakrishna has expressed this complete lack of ego, and thus has become the instrument of the divine. And they asked all the Krishna's playmate gopis, they asked the flute, hey flute, we envy you so much. Lord Krishna keeps you on his lips. What is the secret of your success? Tell us. And that flute said, well, I don't have any particular quality as such, but the only thing I can think of is that I am empty completely. I am an empty bamboo. There is nothing in me, and I don't have my tunes. So the whatever tunes the Lord brings out, they just come out. I have no ego. That is why I remain with the Lord. So it is a very important idea that that is how Sri Ramakrishna's teachership is. That the religious history of the world bears eternal witness to the fact that it is by dissolving the limited I-ness that the divine mood or power of the Guru is manifest in the lives of all avatars in all religions. From time immemorial, we have heard that one cannot have a true spiritual experience or God realization if one considers the Guru to be human. There is a heading to this paragraph, and this is a very important part of Sri Ramakrishna's teachings. Uh, the the heading for this paragraph is the power of the Guru is not human. It is the Divine Mother's power possessing one's body and mind. Then that body and mind expresses the Guruhood. It is like you have the taps or faucets fitted. Now that faucet brings water. When you open the faucet, the water comes from it. Why? Like it is connected to the source of water. So it is not to be approached as a piece of metal. It is the source of water. That is how you go to the tap to get the water from there. So similarly, a guru is not a human being, but the source of the that divine wisdom. It is connected to that. And so, how you should be approaching there is the manifestation of God. I get God from there. Just as you approach the faucet to, well, let me get water from there. So, it is the source of water for you. So, similarly, the Guru is the source of that divine wisdom. So, is therefore, and we say Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwarah, Gurureva Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. What is it? It is not a human being that has ever the capability of giving these teachings. It is when that human being is a pipe that is connected to that divine power, then through that human being you get it. It is nobody is just admiring the qualities of the faucet. Well, this has this color, this has this shape, and this is made of gold or silver or whatever other metal. or plastic. It is the faucet that gives you water. That is the important and only important thing about it. So, this is what Sri Ramakrishna always maintained, that don't harbor the human attitude towards the Guru. Because then you will not get the divine wisdom. You will go to the faucet, and instead of opening the faucet, you will just keep on looking the faucet from all different sides. So that is not going to fulfill your need, you see. So this is the important thought that is expressed here, that with or without faith we recite this hymn to the Guru, who gives initiation with a mantra. The Guru is Brahma, the Guru is Vishnu, the Guru is Shiva. But under the spell of foreign education, many Indians also have given up their traditional education and religious culture. They consider it to be a great sin to repeat that hymn, and they argue in defense of their views. For who can understand that although the power of the Guru manifests itself through certain personalities, it is not uh, within the realm of human knowledge? Who can comprehend that just as the Divine Mother provides air, water, food, and other necessities to maintain the bodies of all beings, so Divine Mother fully manifests her power in a pure, illumined, and egoless human being in order to bestow peace and remove the sufferings of humans who are tormented by the terrible bonds of Maya. Very difficult to understand this. That how it appears to be human, but then it is the source of something else. It is the source of the divine wisdom. So while you see the human form, and we have to have the idea that it is the divine connection, that is why that guruhood is manifesting there. That manifestation of Guru is not anything that human. So Sri Ramakrishna always used to tell that don't harbor the idea of human about the Guru. If we harbor that idea, then we will have the faucet, but we will not get water. And we have a well connected faucet, but we look upon that faucet only as a piece of metal, and then of course licking the faucet is not going to quench the thirst. It is, you have to open it, get water from it. So if we have the attitude that it is just human being, just like us, well, then we get only like that. It is, this is to be appreciated, and it's very difficult to appreciate because of our identification with body. We see others also as body, and do not appreciate that there is this divine connectivity through which the knowledge is coming. So that is what is the power of being a guru. It is not at all possible for a human being, howsoever great that human being may be a highly intelligent, brilliant person, may give wonderful orations, may be able to, many discover many great truths of science, may be able to run a big business. Yes, that is that person may have many human qualities, but that doesn't mean that that person can be guru. No human being can be guru. It needs to be connected to that divine source, and the way to get connected is ego. Lesser the ego, the more is the manifestation of divine. And this is the way for everybody's, for our spiritual development too. If I have to manifest my inner divinity, okay, remove this obstacle. There is it, that divinity doesn't need to be added, it is already there. It is already there, like that quote of Swami Vivekananda put on the wall there. Religion is the manifestation of the divinity already in man. It is already in us. And so Patanjali's yoga aphorism says, therefore, all the spiritual practice is removal of obstacles. That it is, he gives a nice example that it is an automatic expression of the inner divinity. A farmer just as connects the field, the farm, to the stream of water by removing the obstacle of the earth in between. So the water then rushes to that his farm too. So exactly we have to just remove the obstructions, and this obstruction, all obstructions that we can think of, they one way, one common focus of them is ego. I am this body, I am this mind, and so forth. So that is to be given up. Who can then realize that a person becomes an instrument to manifest that power insofar as that person is able to renounce the ego or the unripe I? Because that divine power manifests itself to a very negligible extent in ordinary human minds, we cannot recognize or understand much of it. It manifests in all of us, but since the ego is huge, the manifestation of that power is very little. So we therefore do not get much idea about it. It is there, it is very little because the obstruction is more, so it doesn't have that manifestation there. Fortunately, when a person witnesses this wonderful play of that divine power in Krishna, Buddha, Chaitanya, Shankara, Jesus, and other avatars of the past, and Sri Ramakrishna in the present age, he or she realizes wholeheartedly that the manifestation of that divine power belongs not to a human being but to God alone. Only then do the delusion and impurities of a bound, lost seeker cease to exist, and that person bursts forth declaring, O Guru, you are not human being, you are that, you are he. So this is how the process goes on, that it is the in our scriptures, this is the great glorious principle of God incarnating as human being. This is many of us do not see this, that the how that worship happens. See, we have different Hindus have different ways of worshipping God. They commonly seen are the symbolic expressions of that divinity, like Vishnu or Shiva or Mother Durga or Mother Kali or all such. These are what? These are not incarnations of God, and they are symbolic representations of God. And there is no birth date of Vishnu. Vishnu was born this and this date and then lived for so many years and died like this. No. Or Shiva, no date of birth, no growth, no childhood of Shiva. With whom did he play in childhood? No. They are not human beings. They are the symbolic representations of the divine power. That is very good. Uh, but our spiritual life grows. The religion really manifests in our life through this incarnation. God appearing like us, like human beings, where from we learn. Our learning predominantly happens from other human beings. That is why in the schools we have human beings as teachers appointed. Not a cat or a dog is given the position. Hey, they are not given application to apply for teachership. No, human beings constitutionally can learn from other human beings, and the other human beings can speak, connect, communicate, and thus transmit the wisdom here to there. So, this is how the incarnation of God becomes the most prominent aspect of religion. You see, if you take all the world religions, it is the God incarnating as man, and that is the what keeps that religion on. Think of Christianity. It is Jesus, the God appearing in flesh and blood. That is Jesus. So that is what you can connect to. What is, although in Islam they don't like to call this as the incarnation of God, practically their adoration for Prophet Muhammad is of that type, and God manifesting through this human appearance. It is same if you see in other religions. It is for Hindus, take away these avatars and the religion becomes just a skeleton, meaningless. Take out Rama, Krishna, what is left, Shankara, Buddha, Ramakrishna, nothing is left practically, because we get all these religious truths in our life through association with this incarnation of God, God appearing as human being. So it inspires us. If that person can be egoless, I am like that. And that fellow has one nose, I also have one nose. That fellow has two eyes, I too have. That fellow is human being. That fellow also falls sick. I also fall sick. I also walk on two legs. That fellow walks on two legs. So therefore, if that person can manifest divinity, Ritu, can you? Yeah, yes, she gets confidence that if this person can do, I also can do. That is how you get connected to that divine by seeing that as the guiding force. How did you do it? And then you did like this. Okay, if I do like this, I will also get it. This is how one gets the path, the direction to walk by. So, it is then you see that it is the manifestation of Guru, and so you speak of Guru, then you are the God, that the divine power that is appearing as this Sri Ramakrishna. So this is how Sri Ramakrishna's Guru Bhava, the attitude of Guru that Sri Ramakrishna took, is the secret of it is complete egolessness, total humility. We shall continue the discussion. Now today's time is over, so we shall meditate for 30 seconds or so, and then if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Yes, please. So good, no questions today since our Charlie is absent, the questioner. uh, so we shall conclude with the closing prayers. May the Divine, who is Father in heaven of the Christians, Holy One of the Jewish faith, Allah of the Muslims, Buddha of the Buddhists, Tao of the Taoists, Great Spirit of the Native Americans, Ahur Mazda of the Zoroastrians, and Brahman of the Hindus, lead us from the unreal to the real, from darkness to light, from death to immortality. May the all loving being manifest himself unto us and grant us abiding understanding and all consuming divine love. Peace, peace, peace be unto all.